Okay, oh wow, okay, we actually have a winner. So hello, Facebook Live. This is, I don't know how well this is going to go. IDSX Live people, I should say. This is the second IDSX Live and part of the challenge for Facebook Live with the wonderful Zulu Flow Zion. So we're just going to talk very quickly about, and we'll see how this goes, the Brexit. So basically, for those who don't know, the Great Britain, not so Great Britain anymore, has left the EU. And what that means is, essentially, there's going to be a lot of implications. There is definitely a lot of short-term implications for us in Australia particularly, and around the world even, and definitely obviously for Britain itself. So Britain has actually had basically the worst day in its history. It's been around, the pound's been around, it's been around for 31 years. So the British pound has dropped to the lowest it's ever been. So that means a number of things for any countries that are quite tied to it, which obviously Australia is one of them, and the world itself obviously quite tied to the British economy. So basically no countries actually even take the EU. So this is the first one that's ever successfully left, and the first one that's even intended to. So it's really a wild card. It's really hard for us to be able to tell what will actually happen with Britain now and with the world. So essentially there is obviously a concern that it's going to turn into a more serious global recession, but that is just one potentiality out of many that could happen. I suppose one of the things that I want to talk about is how is it going to impact you personally. So if you've got any ideas around, your thoughts around this, I'd love to hear them below and be able to address them live. Otherwise, I'll just go through some of the stuff I've got written down for you to take note of if you want to prepare yourself for what could be worse than what's happening right now. So one of the things that comes up straight away, obviously, is this never really happened before. So investors don't like uncertainty. They're not big fans of anything where there isn't a known pattern that they can track and therefore obviously benefit from. So investors are reacting to this, and there probably will be a midterm budget that will come out as a result of this. They're going to have to stop bleeding, because they are kind of bleeding at the moment already. So that will be happening. And sorry, just going to double check that no one else is typing stuff here. Good, cool. Well, hello, everyone's on. Great, hello. And just say hello and where you're at the moment, where you're coming in from. What else? The biggest thing I think I want to leave you guys with, and I will make this a very quick one because I'm not sure how good the connection even is in the first place, but essentially there's the pillars of the old world, the old system are starting to crumble. They're starting to come down. This is one of the big signs of that. Obviously, Great Britain leaving the EU and saying, no, you guys are about to have a big crash, we're out before it impacts us too much, is a telling sign. And it's going to happen more and more, I believe, over time. So, we need to make sure that we're not going to be in the way when these pillars start falling down and get crushed on them, either as a country, as a tribe, with your community or your business community, or, with ourselves, our family, the closest to us. So my analogy I want to leave you with, and the thing to keep in mind, is essentially that your own self outwards. If you think of yourself as a city in and of itself, obviously with this billions of cells going, billions of bits within you that are moving around towards you operating in this world and not falling over and dying tomorrow. If you see yourself as your own city, your own castle that's built up, and greater than that, there's obviously a city outside of that, that's your family and your tribe. Really look at focusing in on that. What can you do yourself to be self-sustaining? What can you do yourself to make sure that you're going to be okay if anything happens on a larger scale, rather than fully relying on the system? So the cool thing is, though, obviously the system is getting better and better and more complex, but at the same time it is getting riskier. So I believe, and I've always said, that we're going faster and faster along a knife edge in life together on this earth. We are going down a knife edge, and it could go either way. We could end up in utopia, or we could end up, frankly, in some form of Armageddon, not even exaggerating on that front. Remembering, things like that shopping centers have got 3 days worth of food in them. If we don't find crash, there can and will be implications for us. And we've seen that in other countries like Greece, with people like suiciding in the streets. It's pretty serious stuff. So now is the time. We've got so much time available to us now compared to what we did 100 years ago. We've got all the time in the world if we switch off the distractions to actually set ourselves up and set up our lives to be self-sustaining and to be able to even contribute to our community and the people around us. So I would say definitely stay connected to the system. Like, some people go off the grid altogether, and I don't think it's a way of it all. There's some really good technology out there and things, and even just enjoyment that we can have in the world, but we really need to make sure that we're set up for anything to go wrong. Again, leveraging all those kind of things. You can get water filters, for example, that will give you water for 6 months for $20, and no one really has those on hand. I've got a stack of them, but there's some really cool prepping you can do to make sure that we're okay, both on a survival level and even on a financial level as well. Just make sure you're not too, make sure you are diversified in your financial interests now. This would be a very good time to do that. So what else? There's a funny thing about actually staying connected to the tribe and connected to the community, the greater community, without relying on it. So I had a funny thing happen to me at the metro station. I was just walking along, chatting to an old lady, and another old lady about 10 meters away got knocked over, and she's laying on the ground, knocked over, right? And no one went over to help her for like quite a few seconds there. I had to run over and actually pick her up because no one was even willing to help me lift her up. I had to pick this poor old lady who was at least 80 off the ground, which was a good workout, to be frank. And that's when I say we have to separate ourselves from the system, I don't mean altogether. I mean we can still stay connected in love, but it doesn't mean we have to rely on them or completely need that person or that system of people.